There are two basic divisions of recording. The first one is events and second one is states. In case of events, I should say that behavior is recorded without any dimension. Means even if think about behaviors, it is a dimensionless activity. You cannot say that a behavior is progressing from 1 to 10. It means a behavior which is started with an activity will start with 2 activities next, 3 activities next, 4 activities next. Likewise, you cannot predict a kind of dimension for behaviors. It depends on what the individual encounters at a particular moment. Rather, I should say, events are the small behaviors that happen during the time of observations. It's hard to count how long an event lasts for because it's such a tiny fraction of the overall time you spend observing the animal. Instead, we count how many events occur in a given period. So, very difficult to count event because event may be as small as possible or it may be a particular period covering a duration. So rather we should say how many events you have counted within a particular period or given period of observations. However, in case of states, that is continuous recording of behaviors typically have a beginning and end. So when you record a behavior, you start with some behaviors and finish at some point. So the duration and frequency of a behavior can be measured. How many times that was repeated. So states are bigger behaviors that happen in this period. You can understand that that particular subject went to sleep at 4 p.m. and got up at 6 p.m. So you can count. It's a bigger behaviors. Even we could count how many states occur, but there might only be one state. So within a period of time, we can count how many states or changes, you can say changes took place. Or there may be only one state. Or very few states observed. Instead of counting how many states we see, it makes more sense to count how long those states last for. That I told you, a person went to sleep at 4 p.m. and got up at 6 p.m. So it lasts for 2 hours. So we can talk about how long an animal spent in a particular state for a given period. Another two divisions are scan and focal. Scan and focal is very important because it is subject specific. Say for example, if you consider a subject, one animal or a subgroup of animal and record the all activities for a predetermined period of time, then it is focal. You just fix the time, starting time and the end time of one animal and the subgroup of that animal, and you record all activities. Remember, all activities, not a particular activity within that period. That is the focal. And when you go for that particular one animal and a group of animals and record what the animal is doing at preset intervals, means suppose the first hour 8 to 10 what the animal was doing, then 12 to 2 what the animal was doing, then 4 to 6 what the animal was doing. So after every 2 hours interval what the animal is doing, if you record that one, that is scan. So focal and scan, these two are very important methodological from the methodological point of view because when you explain your experiment or outcomes, you need to explain in terms of focal and scan. So focal subject sampling is very clear. Specific behavior patterns you need to study, and you need to observe a single individuals for a specific time and record all instances or the behaviors that is performed by the subject or the animal during that period. Then it generates frequency of behaviors and compares subject or group. So particular behavior, how many times that behavior is repeated, or frequency of the behaviors, sitting how many times, sleeping how many times. So these behaviors are recorded. Then you can get a ethogram. Ethogram is a descriptive graphical presentation of behaviors. So it describes a description and inventory of all of the behavior patterns exhibited by the subject. So you can plot each and every behavior and the time repeated within that period of time that you have observed. Then you can get you will get the ethogram. So it requires considerable effort. So you need to confirm before developing the ethogram. You need to confirm that this behavior is perfectly or closely exhibited within this range of the frequency. So you need to retest several times. You need to observe the subject several times, maybe 1 month. If you consider 1 day, single day observations, you need to repeat it for 30 days. Then you can come to one conclusion that every day the subject takes rest for 2 hours. So this is what the ethogram you can develop from the result. This is one ethogram you can see, sitting how many times, then you can digging how many times, running how many times, barking how many times. So this way you can construct the ethogram. Then sequence sampling also you can do. It's a focal sampling. A specific individual is observed. Then focus is on a chain of or sequence of specific behaviors. Now here you are studying the continuity of the behaviors. Say for you get up, then go wash your mouth, then go for yoga, then come back, take a rest, then take breakfast. Likewise, the sequence of behaviors are recorded. So there may be some potential subjectivity or bias takes place, because those behaviors which are not in sequential mode, you may remove them. So there may be some subjectivity or bias, but whatever maximum behaviors which are in a sequence, you can record them. So we need a careful and well-trained observation. The observer should be very well skilled to understand which are the repeated behaviors, which are the sequential behaviors. So videography, if you do, you can repeat it many times to list down what are the behaviors or events repeated by the subject. So the result is a description of the sequence of behaviors involved in an activity or interaction. We have 4 basic observational methods. How to explain these 4 basic observational methods? You can see here sampling methods and recording methods. Sampling methods, you can see group and individual, and under recording methods you can see instantaneous and continuous. So when you talk about group and instantaneous event, it is instantaneous scan, but when you go for individual and instantaneous event, it is instantaneous focal. So individual, that is why it is focal. Then again you can come continuous state and it is group, then this is called continuous scan. Similarly, when you talk about individual, it is continuous focal. So you need to finalize what you are going to do actually, instantaneous scan or continuous focal, or instantaneous focal or continuous scan. That is very important. So the same thing you can say, sampling decisions have to do with who, or less commonly what one is going to record. So who you are going to record or what you are going to record, group or individual, that I told you in the previous slide, group or individual, who you are going to record. And second is, recording decision have to do with whether one is going to record events, that is short duration observations, or states, long duration observations. Here again you are going to do event or state, that is to be decided beforehand. You can increase these methods into further 6 more different divisions. If you add 1, 0 and behavior, you have focal and scan, you have continuous and instantaneous. Now you just add 1, 0. 1, 0 means if the behavior appears, then 1. If the behavior does not appear, it is 0. So that way you can see continuous focal, instantaneous focal, and 1, 0 focal. Likewise, continuous behavior, instantaneous behavior, and 1, 0 behavior. So that you can increase up to 9. So this is how you can increase the behavior methods. So that is why the scientifically you need to identify whether you are going to have proximate or ultimate question. Proximate question means whether the behavior has some preceding history, or it is a continuation of the some preceding behaviors. Or ultimate question means whether the behavior is an outcome of overall responses. So this you need to finalize that the particular behavior, then it will help you, because if you are going to observe a preceding behavior, continuation of the preceding behavior, you better go for a continuous event. So that is what this particular question will help you, what you are going to study, proximate or ultimate. That will help you to decide the method. Second, once you get the observational results, then you need to raise these questions. Then you have to develop a hypothesis. This hypothesis would be answered after analysis and interpretation of the data. Then you need to have the prediction. Means first you need to observe with a particular method, then raise the question, then you go for hypothesis. For this question, this is the hypothesis, and for this hypothesis, after analyzing data, you are having this prediction. So this is how, in short, you can go for the observation of animal behavior.